friends, and welcome back to Rugged Mountain Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Sarah, and today I'm in the kitchen making something new. I am making butternut squash soup. It is a cold, snowy day here today. When I went out to feed the chickens, snow just actually fell in my boot. I was not prepared. So I'm going to go ahead and make some soup today. I did process two butternut squash from a previous Azure order, and I had frozen them. So I just took them out, and they are in my Dutch oven over here on the stove. I have them on a low heat, and I just took them out of their frozen state and placed them in the pot. And I'm just going to go ahead and let this cook down and defrost a bit. While that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and chop up this onion that is going to go into our butternut squash soup. Now you can actually make your butternut squash soup in two ways. If you prefer it to be a little sweet, you could add things such as brown sugar or maple syrup. I have a feeling that would probably make it more kind of like a dessert consistency. I'm not sure. Like I said, this is my first time making it. But I'm going to try mine on a little bit more of a savory end. So I'm going to be adding some onion. You could also probably fry up some bacon and add it in there as well. Dean and I, we're more on the savory than sweet. For foods, Dean likes it more savory, but he definitely likes his sweets afterward. Okay, now that I have this diced up pretty well, I'm going to go ahead and add this to my pot with the butternut squash that's cooking down. This actually is half of one large onion. Now I did put a little bit of oil in the bottom of this cast iron Dutch oven when I put the butternut squash in here, but not a whole lot, because since the butternut squash was frozen, it also had some water in it, and of course squash will retain some water, and that'll keep it from scorching. But I do keep it on a very low setting, and I'm just going to continue to let this cook down with this onion until we're ready for the next step. This is probably going to take at least an hour, so I don't rush it. I just keep checking it. We'll see where we are in an hour. Okay, now once your squash has been cooking down along with the onions, and you check on it and you think, okay, the onions have absorbed a lot of the water, and it'll be safe to have something in there because you don't want to scorch your squash. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some chicken stock that I had left over in the refrigerator, and I'm probably going to add just a cup of it. Yeah. And then that way I don't have to run the risk of scorching it. I can keep it on low heat with the lid on and let it continue to cook down. It's fully defrosted now, but I'm just letting it cook down in that chicken stock with the onion. And then just put your lid back on and check on it again a little bit. Okay, so, and that's what I'm just going to keep doing. As it cooks down, as the squash cooks down more and more, and I'm trying to get it to soup consistency that I like, I'm just going to keep adding chicken broth. So far I have added in 1.5 quarts. This is going to be the last quart that I add. So it's really getting to a nice cooked down consistency. And like I said, I've put in 1.5 cups of 1.5 quarts of chicken broth, and this is going to be my last one. So basically 2.5 quarts of chicken broth. So this is currently the consistency. So it has more of a soup texture. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. Add some more broth. And then what I will do is once this starts bubbling, the soup, I'm going to get my immersion blender and then I'm going to puree it just to make it nice and creamy. And at that point, I will add in 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. So it's going to be cream of butternut squash. Okay, I'm going to finish adding the rest of this. Okay, so now that I brought the soup up to rolling, not a boil, but simmering, I'm going to go ahead and turn my immersion blender down to like 50%, but I'm going to try and just puree it up a little bit. Just a little bit more. I think that'll do it. Now I didn't add any bacon to ours, but what I did do is use about a tablespoon of bacon fat and just stirred it up in there and added about 1/4 cup of sweet sorghum. So you could use maple syrup or you could use brown sugar. I just had the sweet sorghum on hand, so I decided to use it because it's kind of a cross between molasses and syrup. All right, let me go ahead and get this pot back over to the stove, and then we will get our heavy whipping cream added. Okay, now I still have it over a low heat, but I'm going to add the heavy whipping cream, but just a little bit at a time while I'm stirring. You could really add anything in here that you wanted. I was just standing here thinking, I was like, you know what would be good in here? Either like some spinach ravioli or some tortellini, something like that. Even though it's soup, butternut squash soup, it kind of has a consistency of pasta sauce. So sometimes I just take a recipe and just start adding to it, messing with it a little bit. You could add in some mixed vegetables, some potatoes, anything to make it a little more hearty. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and let Dean take a taste. So you have this nice rich color, definitely nice and creamy, and blending it up really makes all the difference in the world. Did you like it, Dean?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, so there you have it. This is dinner for us for tonight and probably lunch tomorrow as well. So thank you for joining me in the kitchen up at Rugged Mountain Homestead. We're always so glad when you do. I look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, take care.